This is your daily real estate syndication show, and I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. Today is a highlight show that's packed with value from different guests around a specific topic. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but also go to lifebridgecapital.com where you can sign up to start investing in real estate today. I hope you enjoy the show. Our guest is Robert Martinez. Thanks for being on the show, Robert.
Hey, Whitney, thanks for having me on your show, and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you. You as well. Reading your bio and talking to you already, very impressive what you've accomplished, and I'm honored to have you on the show. But a little about Robert. He's CEO of Rockstar Capital, an investment and multifamily property management firm specializing in the acquisition and management of value-add opportunities in Texas. Currently, the portfolio consists of 3,699 units across 21 communities. As the CEO and founder, he directs the investment strategy, sources the investment capital, and secures the appropriate financing. Since 2011, his company is one of the most decorated property management companies in Texas with 17 city, state, and national apartment association awards and top-rated status by apartmentratings.com for their portfolio from 2015 to 2018. Their communities ranked in the top 1% nationally for online resident satisfaction. And his awards and stuff go on and on and on. So, I mean, Robert, just grateful to have somebody at your level and that's done all this and performing at this level, on the show. And I know you're going to bring lots of value to the listeners and expose a lot of people to who you all are as well. But tell the listeners a little more about where you're located and what your focus is right now.
Right. So I own a company called Rockstar Capital Management. We're located in Houston, Texas, and we buy a variety of deals. We only focus on multifamily. So Class A, Class B, Class C. I am an owner-operator. And what does that mean is that I manage my own assets. I've been involved in multifamily real estate since 2007. I got my education through a local real estate club here in Houston. I grew my awareness and education that way. I was the COO of a previous company before, and then in 2011 founded Rockstar Capital Management. As you mentioned, we've grown on. When you're an independent owner, you're very passionate. You're very passionate and you wear your heart on your sleeve, and which means I'm very competitive. And if anything is wrong with my properties, it's my fault. No one else's fault because I allow it to occur. I believe it's just, the whole concept of, necessity is the mother of invention, right? If it hurts enough, you'll do something about it. If it doesn't, then you won't. And I don't like to hurt. I don't like criticism or ridicule. I want everything to be the best that it can be. With it, I think that's what's fueled our growth. We've only grown in the last recent years. In 2011, I bought one deal. In 2012, I bought one deal. In 2013, I bought one deal. And we started winning awards. And I realized, we've got a little formula here. We've got a good secret sauce. And I've got some really good thoroughbreds in the stable. Why don't we, that are winning these awards with me, right? Because it's a team sport. Real estate is a team sport. You cannot do it all by yourself because I'm not the one that has to go out there in the middle of the night when something's not working. That's going to be someone else. But why are they going to go out there? Are they going out there out of fear or they're going out there out of love? Are they going out there because they don't want to let you down? So I take a personal interest in each of my staff. I find out who they are. I get their situation and I try to help them. And I operate under the concept of if I help them, they're going to help me. And it's worked really, really well. And so in 2014, that was the first year we started buying more than just one deal a year. We bought actually 4, but they were smaller, right? In the 100 unit to 150 unit range. And that's great, but you don't get all the economies of scale. I was buying those small deals because I felt that if I had one manager in the office, then they're that much closer to the resident. There's no one in between. There's not an assistant manager. There's nobody else. So if something is said, if you have the right person in the chair, she's going to act on it. She can help the resident meet their needs. But I realized, though, that as you grow, you need to have a bigger budget. A budget fixes everything. You don't have an expense problem. I follow Grant Cardone a lot. And I was actually on his show last year, and the video went viral. I had my 2 boys with me who are now 13 and 11, last August 2018. And one of the things that he mentioned to me is that bigger is better. And it took me a little while to understand that concept. But it is. When you have more budget, you can do more. You don't have an expense problem. You have an income problem. So generate more income, right? You can have more budget to have better marketing. You can have more budget to have a better quality staff. And so as we grew our company, we started buying bigger deals and a little bit. So instead of buying 4 smaller deals, we buy 2 bigger deals. And then next, it's 3 bigger deals. And so we've grown now to 21 communities across Texas. Recently, we just expanded outside of Texas and gone down to South Texas. outside of Houston and going down to South Texas in the Corpus Christi area. And we're doing really well there. It's very exciting. We're building a brand. We use a lot of video to tell our story. And, because nobody shows up on a Saturday morning to look for apartments. They do all their research during the week and they find you on the different reputation sites, Google, Facebook, apartmentratings.com, Yelp. And you got to make sure that you're represented the way you want to be represented. Otherwise, because if you don't, who's leaving your reviews? People that are angry with you. And why are they angry with you? Because they're being evicted, or because they don't want to follow community policies or community directives, right? And so you've got to go and drown out the noise. And so, we realize that, wait, every time somebody renews, aren't they happy? Yeah. Every time somebody moves in, aren't they happy? So why are we asking for a review? Why are we letting the haters dictate our reputation? So we've gotten very good at reputation management. As I mentioned earlier, when you and I were probably speaking, I've got 4 properties that are ranked in the top 1% of all communities in the country. That's 101,000 communities in the United States. I've got 4 that are ranked in the top 1%. I have only 21 properties. So we put a lot of effort on our brand and our reputation, and it's very important to us. But again, I said I'm a very emotional guy, right? I wear my emotions on my sleeve, my heart on my sleeve. It's a representation of who I am. So I want it to be the best that it can be.
Love it. No, that's awesome. Yeah, we want it to be the best that we can be. And yeah, I love that. And so I wanted to back up a little bit and talk about, when did you decide to self-manage? When was that? Was it on the first property, or was it, 2 or 3 properties into it? How did you determine that?
I've got a strong sales background. I went to Texas A&M. I have an engineering degree, but, I wasn't one of those 4.0 guys that you hire and you put like in a think tank. I was going to be the kind of sold the think tank, right? It sold you the concept and the value add and the benefit cost analysis. And so when I got into real estate, I recognized, man, this is just like what I used to do, but actually a lot easier. Because if I could sell a $100,000 piece of equipment to a guy with a PhD and explain to him the cost benefit analysis, then I could certainly lease a $500 apartment to a guy making $35,000 a year. And so very quickly, I recognized that I could do this. And it's very hard for me to give my money to somebody when I think I can do that too. And so I walked away from my day job. I was making 6 figures, and I realized that the opportunity for me was in real estate. And so I dove right in, and I put $200,000 in my first deal. I syndicated that deal with some other people, and I took care of it, and I guarded with my life. That's what I did. And I think that if you will find out very quickly who you are when your money's on the table. And so I'm very big of having skin in the game. And there's nothing wrong with third-party property management companies. It's just not for me. Because unless they have skin in the game, then they don't feel my pain. They don't understand we got to win at all costs. We got to make sure that they make a decision. I'm here right now. I walked 2 properties this morning. These are my legacy properties that I bought in 2010, 2011. And there's a couple of small little things that we're talking about on how to protect our history and our legacy moving forward. Even though occupancy is at 96% and we're getting rents, I still want to invest in it, right? Well, I want to be involved in those conversations. I want to be able to make a decision right there in the spot. And we made a decision, hey, go get a quote on that, and let's see if we can work that in the budget for January. Even though we're doing really well, we want to continue to do well. So you got to keep investing in your properties. How does that happen if you're doing it with a third party? You don't get to act on the spot. You don't get to make those reactions. You're a big, giant battleship, right? And you're like, I want to turn left. And you want to try to turn left, but you can't. When you operate independent owner-operator, you can make those decisions right there on the spot. Policy becomes off of this conversation. You and I have a conversation right now. You give me an idea or something. Tomorrow it becomes policy for us, and we implement it. And I think that's the key to a lot of our success. And that success has generated 12 100% cash out refinances, where I literally buy a property, and within a 36 to 48 month period, now through cash flow and through a giant refinance event, cash refinance event, you're getting all your money back. We've done that 12 times. That's pretty good. And so over a 10-year period, we're probably looking at a 3x, if not a higher return for our investors. And we've got about 91 million in investor capital that I take care of. So I take it very serious. I take it very personal. My mom's in those deals. My other family's in the deals. And I gotta know that I go to bed at night with a clean conscience, knowing that I did all I could today to bring value.
Nice. And so I know, being able to do this, your team is so important. And you elaborated on that a little bit. And you talked about, the personal interest that you take in each staff member, and tell me about how you've built this team to operate, at this level, and how you do take that personal touch.
It's a credit I give to my father. My father worked for a company called Whataburger, which is a fast food retail chain. And it just seemed like his stores always did better than everybody else's. And I didn't know at the time, because I was in my own little life. I was a kid. He was always on the phone. There was no cell phone back then. So he's on the house phone, or he's on his beeper, and I was giving him calls. And I would hear him talk to people. And I think some of that just kind of stuck in me. But this is a people game, and if you find out what makes you tick and what your hearts and your goal, your desires are, and I make them important to me, and I help you achieve them, chances are you're going to want to help me achieve my goals, right? Because, I think people generally want to help other people out. They just don't know how. Well, here you are. If I help you out, you're going to ask me how to help me out. I don't expect you to work hard every day. You shouldn't work as hard as me. I'm the owner. But how will you? How do you take that extra effort? If I've gone and I've helped you, if I've gone and I've done things that make your life easier, to help you get your goals, I think there's a great chance that you're going to help me. It doesn't always work out, but that you're going to want to help me get my goals. And I think so we play in a team atmosphere here. I'm not going to go into the jungle by myself. I want to go in there with holding hands with a bunch of people because there's a better chance of me getting out alive, right, if I have a bunch of people with me.
Are you about to start a podcast or producing a podcast and tired of doing the editing yourself? We have produced over 1,000 daily shows, and the production team that I've created, they're now available to produce shows for you as well. We can do as little or as much as you need, from finding and communicating with guests, preparing introductions, to editing the audio and video. You will sound better, have a more professional presence, and be able to spend your time doing other valuable tasks on your business. Let me know you're interested by emailing me directly at whitney@lifebridgecapital.com.
Our guest is Bruce Wuollett. Thanks for being on the show, Bruce.
Thank you for having me on your show, Whitney. I appreciate the opportunity.
No, we're honored to have you here. And a little about Bruce. He's the founder and current owner of Bakerson. Growing up in the bakery business in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, Bruce wanted to pay homage to his now late father, hence the name Bakerson. He has a proven track record of success throughout Bakerson's 16 years in business, with thousands of individual units bought, repositioned, and sold. Has overseen all aspects of the business, including operations, acquisition, equity, fund management, legal, finance, and more. His focus is finding good deals, while his passion is serving the residents by providing them with one of their basic human needs, which is shelter. So, Bruce, thank you again, for your time this morning. Give the listeners a little more about your background, and I know you wanted to, make sure and elaborate on the name Bakerson and tell them about that, and then let's dive into this business and your all specialty.
I got into real estate and tax lien foreclosures 2001. And in 2002, I wanted to find a different way to buy properties. And so we ended up door knocking the old-fashioned way and finding properties that way. And I needed a name for my business. And I remember I was driving south on Highway 51 when the name came to me. And I said, I grew up in a bakery. I'm a baker's son. And so then at that time, my dad was suffering from cancer. So when I mentioned it to him, he thought it was really, really neat. And he was pretty touched by the fact that we named the business. When I say we, I had a business partner, Jack Martin, at the time, who's still a very good friend. We went different ways 3 years ago, but his dad also worked in the bakery business, and he worked for my grandfather in the Wuollett bakery in Minneapolis, which is still in business. So yeah, we paid homage to my father and his father. It's just it's out of respect, and we really like the name Bakerson, and it means something special to us.
Nice. But now, give us a little bit about what Bakerson's doing now, what your all's business is, and then let's jump in.
Absolutely. So our current business is focusing on workforce or Class C housing. And when I say workforce, we focus on the self-paying resident, the ones that have jobs, they have decent credit, maybe not perfect, but what I say is our focus is the permanent renter, one who may never own a home and would like to live in one, and treating each resident with the dignity they deserve. And currently our assets are in Tucson. We have 3 buildings there. We've been selling some during this hot market cycle. And we're also still finding a good deal here and there. Well, we found one recently after about 30 to 40 offers in the last 15 months, where we've got one in escrow to purchase in Tucson as we speak. So it's been a little bit tough, but it's a good time to sell too. So
good.
Assets.
Yeah. So, I guess give us I know you talked about Class C properties and, give us the typical asset that you all are looking for, maybe your buying criteria.
Yeah, we want a 75 unit and up. The largest that we've had is 120. Current assets are 74, 75, and 107. We really like the heavy lifting. The 74 unit that we have, it was 50% occupied when we bought it. We brought it to 75% vacant and repositioned it and brought it back up. So we're not afraid of the heavy lifting. And to know during that time, there's no cash flow. We syndicate, so the investors fund our dreams for us alongside of us. As I like to say, they club with us. The heavier the lift, the better. But we're having a hard time finding those nearly abandoned buildings because the the market, as it is, as you know, has sucked up most of those assets. So
that's a great topic. Yeah, let's jump into that. So, can we elaborate on that property that went 50% occupied, or if it was 50% when you all purchased it? Maybe let's give us some details about that property and let's kind of walk through what you all did.
Absolutely. So this was run by a local slumlord, and she ran the property very, very poorly and was cannibalizing units, taking refrigerators from one unit and put it to the other. And eventually she ran out of inventory. You can only take from yourself so long and you run out of inventory. So she was in a downward spiral. The other issue we had with that property when we bought it was the chiller system was aging and there was water leakage underground. And we could tell because if you know chiller systems, I don't want to get too granular, but there's a meter that if the meter is moving, there's a water leak. It's a sealed system. Well, it was moving slowly. And so we were concerned about that during our due diligence. So we said, hey, let's go look at that one again, look at the chiller system, kind of analyze it, figure out what's going on. And when we were there, the on-site manager was repairing 17 feet of underground pipe under 2 units and said that the pipe had burst underground. And when we looked at it, we seen that when a pipe is broken and you patch it, wherever you patch it's going to break again and again and again, and you're chasing this issue and you'll never resolve it. And so we said, okay, we got to replace the whole piping system. And so we went in for a $250,000 seller credit, which she agreed to because this property was a sinkhole for her and she was running out of options. And so we ended up replumbing the chiller system on the exterior of the building underneath the walkways. And it looks modern and it's turned out really nice because to go underground would have been nearly cost prohibitive to repipe it underground. And so that was our value add there, as well as the units themselves were pretty rough. So we stripped many of them down to the studs, new drywall, new cabinets, new flooring, new plumbing fixtures. And in our properties, we do like to do low flow toilets. So that's another thing for water usage. And I don't know how far you want to get into that, but
yeah, well, let's back up just a little bit. And like, how did you find this property?
This was through a broker, a local broker in Tucson said, hey, I found the perfect property for you guys. So it was a local broker.
Thank you for being a loyal listener of the show. Please subscribe and share it with your friends. We want to help you become the passive investor you've always wanted to become, but also the operator you've always wanted to become. We want to be the #1 resource for your real estate investing journey. But go to lifebridgecapital.com where you can start investing in real estate today.